"Hello, ma'am," one woman said to me. "You can't walk?" I was still sitting on Carpe Diem. "I can walk," I said, quickly scrambling off the cow. "It's DNA," someone said. Oh my goodness. But most of the villagers just stared at us, especially at me. They crowded around us and I immediately wanted to escape. I narrowed my eyes and squeezed my fingers into fists. I wasn't afraid of these people, but I was still jumpy from yesterday when I was surrounded by seemingly nice people who'd then hardened into cruelty. Today we're going to read Noor. Hi, welcome to Billy's Books. Today we're going to read Noor by Nnedi Oforokor. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This book is considered to be Afrofuturism. Afrofuturism, something about which I know very little. I'm going to let you look it up on Wikipedia. Our protagonist is Ao. There's a couple, the two main characters, or the main characters have initials, Ao, and then her best friend, who becomes best friend, is named DNA. These are both acronyms for their initials, which I will not bother to pronounce. Again, Ao is our protagonist, and she, since she was a little kid, has been a cyborg. She was born with some deficiencies in her legs, and then also later on got in a car accident. So she has a lot of implants. This is from the near future, and she's got all these robotic parts, and she seems to be considered sort of a demon or something, really, really bad and unnatural by the community around her. And sort of towards the beginning of the book, that comes to a head where she goes to the market to just buy some stuff, but suddenly she gets attacked and defends herself. But because she's got all this robotic parts and stuff, she's really good at defending herself, and she kills some people and becomes an outlaw. When she runs into DNA, who is a herder, who also becomes an outlaw for different circumstances, he is also attacked, and both of them become sort of renegades, and they team up, and they have to deal with this world. So this world is messed up. They are in Africa. Her hero is Zahora, who had invented wireless energy transfer, something that Tesla was working on when he died and never got. But, a century or a century and a half later, humanity figures it out, and Zahora is the one to do it, and she's all very... So she manages to sort of create these hubs where you can go from one place to another and transfer enormous amounts of energy, but it gets taken over by Ultimate Core, who is like the one company that sort of runs everything, kind of Amazon if they were also utilities so far. And they sort of do that, but nobody knows where Ultimate Core is founded. It seems to be everywhere and nowhere at once. They run everything, so they run this big energy thing, but they also, there's a sort of an industrial accident, maybe, it's not clear, but north of them, sort of implied in the Sahara, is the Red Eye, which is this enormous storm that never dies. And then there are some other objects in there to contain it, but it's just something that people just deal with, and it's very poisonous, and if you get in the middle of the Red Eye, you're going to be torn up by just the winds, that your bones will spin forever and all that kind of weird stuff. There's a lot of allegory going on here about colonialism, but also just race relations, but also more all having to do with just sort of some taboos in Africa, and their relationship to Western. So like she's so with the kid Ao as a kid, it isn't just that she's a cyborg, but she's a sign of that Western technology. And one of the themes in this book is technology is witchcraft. That's sort of how DNA, the herder, sees it. That's one of his quotes, but it sort of says a lot about the way we relate to technology these days. there's a lot of plot here and everything like that. Basically, they're renegades. They find themselves sort of going towards the problem and getting caught up in it, and they meet a wizard, and they meet all sorts of other people who talk about, it's all very much, she finds out later the source of her own injuries are nefarious, and that upsets her a little bit. But she grows to be not, it turns out that her technology isn't just like, wow, I can, my robotic arms and stuff can kick ass if I get attacked. But at a certain point, she realizes she can connect through the internet or whatever, through the ether, to many electronic devices around the world, and she becomes rather powerful. And that's very interesting. And if you think of that as a sort of metaphor and stuff like that, it's actually more interesting than if it's not a metaphor. Though it certainly is interesting unto itself. Anyway, what happens is she uses the technology at some point to expose some of the bad things Ultimate Core has done, including, getting people killed and things like that. And in the 21st century charming way that it is, the Ultimate Core stock prices go up when they are exposed to be so deadly. There are some people who know Ultimate Core for what they are, but also not just Ultimate Core, but also the society at large sort of has its problems, and there's a sort of secret community somewhere that's hiding away, that's sort of very much off the grid, and they are very cynical about those around them. They protect each other very well, and there's a quote that they talk about, what they actually, even though they are off the grid, people can't see them, but they can see the world out. It's like a one-way gateway. They can see what's going on, even though the world can't see them. And there's some questioning of motives, and the quote from someone in that secret hiding place is just, "We've seen what they do." And that is meant to be ominous. This book is short. It's a quick read. I blew through it in not very long at all. And it'll make you think. So, if you can't do, review.
Take me now, take me baby, take me now. Take me now, take me baby, take me now. Take me now.